Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And yes, today we are going to be talking about the price of XRP and the ultimate wonder of where could XRP go? I've talked about XRP's price many times on this channel. I think that it is a very interesting subject because I think that there's a lot of factors regarding it. We've talked about this many times in the past as well on how the price action has been stifled for the most part. And I think that as we do start to see assets going parabolic, especially around the memes and things like that, it is good to kind of settle back and say, okay, well, what about utility, right? Because utility does have a very special price tied to it and also value. As we do look at XRP, one thing that I've always noted on this channel is that for 2.5 years, XRP's name has been thrown through the mud. We have seen regulators call it a scam, call it this, call it that, whatever. And also, regulators ultimately say, hey, it is a security, which scares a lot of people away. So as we do look at that, what kind of damages were caused? What happened with XRP? Well, $15 billion worth of damage was caused to XRP and XRP holders. Outside of the realm of just the damages done, think about the reputation that got harmed in the overall process as well. And then price. Because as we do look at XRP, it was delisted from major exchanges. Also, the name was touted and a lot of people kind of avoided it. I actually remember during December of 2020, I had heated arguments over on Twitter with a few people where they were saying XRP is going to 5 cents. XRP is going down to 0. XRP is going here. XRP is going there. It's never going to bounce back. It's done. It's dead. And that was the overall sentiment over on Twitter during December of 2020. And I remember it specifically because obviously at that time, I was a very large holder of XRP. And guess what I did? Did I sell? No, I bought more XRP during that time because at the time I just felt the need to, because I didn't believe what I was hearing around the XRP community. I mean, like, we seen people flip-flop around. The sentiment was absolute garbage. And you always hear it, right? You buy when you feel the highest amount of risk. The best buys and the best ROI buys are the ones that you fear the most, the ones that, feel absolutely terrifying, right? Like, you're scared to do it. And when we look back on time and we actually look at XRP, during that time, it was a very dark time in the market for XRP and XRP holders. But I will note this, right? As we really do look at this market and as we do look at where XRP is, it has withheld in the top 10 during all of that noise, during all of the terrifying times in the market. And even though XRP still remains in the top 10, a lot of people still avoid it. And it's mainly because everyone is still looking at the price chart and saying, XRP will never make a new all-time high. There's absolutely no way that it can, not with the supply, right? But that's where a lot of things, in my opinion, change, because I think that the supply is actually perfect for XRP's use case. I also think that outside of the use case that everyone is centered on, cross-border payments, I think that that is also a very good thing to note when we talk about the XRP ledger, because when you combine the XRP ledger's use cases and then you combine with what Ripple is trying to do with XRP, that 100 billion supply of XRP really isn't even a question anymore. I know a lot of people love to look at market cap and say, well, the math just doesn't check out if XRP goes to $5, $10, or even $15, or even higher than that. But everyone is always centered on the market cap argument that I think that they kind of disregard and forget about the actual utility here behind XRP. XRP is one of the very few cryptocurrencies within the space that does have an incredible amount of utility tied to it. But I will say this. As we look back into 2017-2018's bull run and we look at the price here, I know that on the chart's gonna say like $3. We know that it hit around like $3.80 some cents. On a few other exchanges, it could be like $3.60. It's different around these exchanges. But even though we did have that lawsuit and a very dark time in the market for XRP, we still handled this well and almost went to $2 during May of 2021. That's pretty significant. Now, yes, it didn't make a new all-time high. In fact, it's been well over 2,000 days since XRP did make a new all-time high. Now, does that mean that I'm concerned about it? Does that mean that I don't think that there's going to be a new all-time high for XRP? Absolutely not. In fact, I think more now than ever before that a new all-time high is a high probability. Now, I'm not going to say that's guaranteed or anything like that, but I do think that as we look at the price chart for XRP, and as we do look at today's price chart for XRP, and we go back just a couple days ago or even months ago, this whole sideways trend here will eventually break out. And when it does break out, it's going to be very interesting to see what really happens to the price of XRP. But also, what are the overall factors behind this? Well, obviously, yes, the case is a big deal. A lot of people are always looking at what happens around this lawsuit. Here's a video. It's 1 minute and 30 seconds long. It's from Paul Barron Network's YouTube channel, where he's talking about crypto regulations versus lawsuits. And we do see which lawsuit is most promising to win. We actually do see that Ripple versus SEC and even Coinbase versus SEC are two of the top ones. Coinbase boasting 44%, Ripple boasting 40%. Listen closely.
If the Ripple case gets to the Supreme Court of the United States, I believe it is highly likely that Ripple wins and the SEC loses. It's dicey to predict what one particular federal judge will or will not do with massive contrasting motions for summary judgment. But as Ripple, you know, and I hate to say it, this is going to take more time, as Ripple goes to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals and then to the United States Supreme Court, I like their chances a lot.
What would you say is the number one thing they bring in terms of their defense to the Supreme Court that you feel, hey, this is a good probability they could win this?
It's the big question. It's the ultimate question. And that is the SEC lacks authority from Congress to regulate in this space. It is the major questions doctrine. There are 6 votes at the Supreme Court right now for this major questions doctrine, which says if you are going to claim the authority to regulate a massive industry and a new asset class, you have got to get that authority from Congress. And it's exactly what Gary Gensler said in May of 2021. He was right then. He's wrong now. But there's 6 votes for that. And I think this is a perfect case of a major question that can only be settled by Congress.
And I do think that, yeah, Ripple will win the lawsuit if it does go to the Supreme Court, but I hope that it doesn't, because this could very well stretch on for another year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows how long. And the big question is, if it does, will you sell your XRP? And to me, I don't really care what happens with this case in the long term. I mean, I do believe that Ripple will win. I believe that XRP will have clarity. But even if they don't, right, even on the other side of the bridge, if Ripple does lose and XRP doesn't have clarity in the US, does it really change much at all? And I've answered this question many times on this channel. I don't believe it does, because outside of this scope, and as we do look at outside of the world of the US as well, you know, Ripple continues to expand rapidly. So I don't really think that it is a 100% guarantee that Ripple and XRP are dead in the water if they don't get clarity within the US. But also, as we look at things happening around Ripple, we know that crypto is becoming a big focus point around the world, especially for businesses, companies, etc. Here we have Liquidity Hub combines ease of use, powerful payment integrations, cost savings, and more into a single, scalable, enterprise-grade platform. Enterprises are going to be adopting a lot of these crypto-driven products. Obviously, I know that the Liquidity Hub does not include XRP yet. When we do have clarity, or when this case is put behind us, yes, XRP will be included. But for the time being, yes, it doesn't include XRP. But I'm mainly focused on this because, currently speaking, as we look at it today, we know enterprises, companies, businesses, etc., they all want to utilize crypto, which is very bullish. And this is going to be a narrative that continues to drive home. And if we do look at that, right, where does XRP stand? Well, I believe XRP has a ton of vast use cases for the enterprise grade sector, for businesses, companies, etc. And I do think that it will be adopted within their business flows. Now, also, the XRP ledger continues to expand. When we actually go over here, so Some Wallet and XRP Ledger has joined forces with Poco to enable XRP purchases with over 100 local payment methods. Shout out to Michael Branch for this. Yes, this ecosystem is continuously expanding rapidly, which is very good because this is creating endless amounts of value for XRP. Also, within this, we actually see over here that Ripple teams up with Thallo for blockchain-based carbon credits marketplace on the XRP ledger. We already know about this. This is a big deal. All of this is happening in real time, and it's all centered on liquidity. Thallo is building a marketplace that will bring more liquidity, greater access to pricing and market data, and an improved certification process to to an often opaque, slow, and siloed market by leveraging Ripple's enterprise readiness and carbon neutral XRP ledger's reliability at scale. It's a big deal. And these are the use cases that continue to really thrive on the XRP ledger and expand. And then also over here, XRP ledger to receive new DeFi use cases as decentralized ID proposal goes live. And all of these use cases are outside of the scope of Ripple. Like, we don't need Ripple to create endless value on the XRP ledger. Yes, this one is with Ripple, and Ripple is building out solid use cases on the XRP ledger. But outside of that, there's also a lot of other use cases being built here, which I'm very excited about. Now, with all of this in mind, where can XRP go? A lot of people have looked at XRP's price chart, and I really just want to talk about this for a real quick second. So let me just go back to the monthly chart. So I've seen a lot of people go over to Twitter and do this, and I could do this right now, and I guarantee that it will get 1,000 likes. I could just go, wow, XRP is really building up for a big monstrous move. I could see that this is the same exact price movement that we have seen many times in the past. So there we go. And I'm going to say, oh, well, we might get one last dip down to like 25 cents or so. And then we're going to blow past, all targets. We're going to go to, $36. Boom. That's the next level right there. Or a lot of people, what they do is they do this. They'll massively inflate the bars graph, and they'll say, oh, it's going to go to $178. This is nonsense. When we actually look at the price chart for XRP and we look back in time, so we know that during 2017, 2018, this thing did a monstrous 636x off of some of these lows back here. And I'm technically going off of, just the levels that we were ranging on during March and even February of 2017. What an incredible time to be in the market, right? During this time, full transparency, I was actually not in XRP. I did not buy XRP during this time. I actually bought XRP right around this level in October of 2017. I was actually late to the party. I was able to sell a little bit, but I think that the rest actually got lost on an account because I was not heavy into crypto during this time. There was not a ton of money that I had during this time, full transparency. I was pretty young at this time. I was not making a lot of money. So I did not have a lot of money in XRP at this time anyways, but whatever I made, I probably spent it on stupid stuff during this time. So just full transparency. But during this time though, I was buying some XRP. I was actually putting, some money aside. I was doing a lot of design work as well as construction work at this time. I was freelancing as well as doing construction work. And then I got a job at a design agency. Like, I'm just trying to give you guys a full transparency outlook of what I was doing during this time. But I was doing a lot of buys on XRP, and on the recent run up during 2020 and 2021, it was very exciting because I finally got a lot of XRP and I had a nice bag. And during this entire time, I was taking some profits, usually following my method where I 2x my investment and I get my initial investment out. And I did that. And my bag of XRP today is very heavy. I'm very appreciative of how things worked out. And now as we do look at XRP today, I do think that it is brewing for a major move. And what is that major move? Well, we've talked about this many times in the past. It could be, $10, it could be $15. But where could this really go? Like, what's the highest probability area of interest? Well, if we do defy all odds and we get the case put behind us as soon as possible, and we, really kind of break the shackles of that case, I could see the same probability move from roughly like the July timeframe of 2017 to the top, which is like about a 24x opportunity run off of today's prices. If we do something like a 24x run off of this would be about $10 for XRP. This is, in my opinion, a pretty high probability chance of that hitting. Now, we also do see that 16x. It's like about a 16.5x. If we go off of that 16.5x, this is roughly about like $7 some. That to me is not bad. $7 to $10 is not bad at all for XRP. But first, we need to see a lot of things happen for XRP. One, we need to have the volume, the interest. We need to see things moving. We need to break past that high from April of 2021 and instead, not do what we've been typically doing since 2017 and 2018, which is we have this high here, we have a lower high. And what would our lower high be? Somewhere around like $1, $1.50, which I don't think is going to be the case. I think that we're going to go much higher. I think that during this time here on this run up, I think that there was a lot of uncertainty. I think that there was a lot of doubt. And ultimately, I think that a lot of people didn't really care about XRP during this time. I think that a lot of attention was skewed elsewhere because most people that were holding XRP waiting for the big move got shaken out on this red candle here, which was the SEC. And as you guys do see the damage done by the SEC, well, here you guys have a 78% drop at a time where most altcoins were starting to brew and have big moves. Now, if we did not die here, I actually think that we would have had a very similar move during this time. Now, I'm not going to, again, I'm just going off of I'm going off the bars graph here just for reference of what this could have very well have seen in terms of price action. I'm not saying that this is an exact price move that we would have seen. I'm just saying that we could have seen something very close to this where, those price predictions from 2020, which if you guys were around during 2020, a lot of people were saying like $10, $20, $30. This could have very well have hit anywhere around like $10 to $20. Is that a guarantee or anything like that? No, of course not. But I do think that $10 would have been the goal. I think that $10 would have happened, especially going off of some of those lows. I mean, even if we look at the price potential here, this was a 16.5x. If we would have just did, 24x, we would have actually undershot a little bit of that all-time high. Sorry, let me move this line out of the way. If we would have did like a 24x, we would have undershot the all-time high just slightly. Which is why I say, I think that we would have went well beyond the means of that all-time high. Even if we did hit $7, this would have been like almost a 60x opportunity run into about like $10 itself. This would have been about an 86x opportunity run on XRP. So as we do look at this, do I think that $10, do I think that around $7 or so could very well be the targets? Yeah, I do think so. I think that could very well be a high probability chance of that being hit. But first, before I get anybody's hopes up, we have a lot of work to do on this price chart. And that work that we need to do is, we need to clear some of these highs before we get any sort of price potential targets thrown out there. And also, what I always say is take profits along the way. If I'm going heavy and buying all through this time here, and say for so, we'll say going off of this line here, which is like the major area of interest from my perspective, we do like a 100% move or even like a 200% move, and I'm not taking any profits, I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. But also, if we are taking profits on the way up, and even if we do take a lot of profits, it's okay to. I see a lot of people saying don't ever sell your XRP. I'm not going to be one to advocate for that, especially if XRP is maybe like your only bag, which, by the way, I think that is a very bad thing to do. I think that you should diversify outside of XRP. And if you don't plan on selling XRP until a certain price, then that's fine. Have diversification happening. That way you can make a whole bunch of profits on other tokens. And when we have these massive drops in the market, well, you could reinvest. And that way, when you do, have a major move in the market, you could take profits off of that bag. But to me personally, multiplying your bag without putting more money in and risking even more amounts of money is the goal. You could start a portfolio that's 6 figures off of, just a couple $1,000s invested. A lot of people will say that that's not, true, but think about it like this. You 10x off of one asset, off of $1,000, you have 10 grand. Okay, you 10x that, 100 grand. You 10x that, you have $1 million. And yes, I understand it's not that easy, but it's probable you could do so. You could have a 6-figure, portfolio off of just 2 10x's. And 10x's happen quite often in this market, as you guys are probably all aware of. Even XRP, grasped a 16x even with the SEC lawsuit and so much FUD around it. So as we do look at this thing, do I think that XRP will have, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000% run up in the market? It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible, especially with all the development happening around the XRP ledger. There's a lot of use cases being built out on the XRP ledger, but there's also the question of the lawsuit. There's a lot of expansion happening outside of the US as well. I actually think that Ripple expanding into the UAE and having headquarters in the UAE is them kind of preparing for, if they do lose, they still have that office. They are in a very good spot for crypto as well. And I think that now more than ever, I think a lot of people are looking at the US as, if they don't have regulations, if they don't have clarity on crypto, and if they do lose that case in the US for Ripple as well, like I think a lot of people are kind of now forgetting about the US because there's just been so much happening outside of the US as well in terms of regulation. So I think that XRP is set up for an incredible time going forward on in time. Again, I personally would love, I don't mean any hate towards anyone that's posting these types of charts over on Twitter. I totally understand what they're doing, but I just don't think that it's good for the general public. I think that it makes everyone look like an idiot around XRP. I just don't generally support anyone that's using bars graphs to say, hey, look at XRP is going to go to $100 by October of 2024. It's just not the case. And it's not going to work like that. In fact, even this video, me talking to you guys about these possible scenarios of where XRP could go, like before we even talk about some of these higher price actions, we still need to clear that all-time high. And it's going to be a battle. I mean, it's been well over, like I said, almost 2,000 days since we made a new all-time high. So we still have a lot of work to do. And with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me over on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. As host, you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are on this. Before this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.